Spend the next 20 minutes feeding your brain with Formosa Fauna so you can learn all about the animal kingdom and become smarter than all of your friends. What better way to spend your commute or downtime? Every Friday is Formosa Fauna Friday. I'm Tristan Hildebrand, the voice of Formosa Fauna. I love animals and I love talking about animals. Today we're going to talk about a few different topics, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We're going to start off by talking about less adoptable pets and why they shouldn't be less adoptable. We're also going to talk about President Lai Ching-te adopting a disabled dog. We're going to have a quick couple words about Jerry McKay, a longtime UK national and resident of Taiwan who dedicated his life to caring for stray cats. And at the very end, we'll finish it off with a little bit of fun by talking about some reptiles running amok. There are just so many animals in the world that it gets hard to pick and choose which ones we should talk about. It's times like these that checking into the yearly animal holiday calendar comes in handy. If you have cats, you may be aware of International Cat Day on August 8th. If you have dogs, you may know of International Dog Day on August 26th. September is also full of a few fun animal-centric holidays. One of the ones that we missed is Japan Dolphin Day, which takes place on September 1st. One that we have not missed, that we have been in time for, is Adopt a Less Adoptable Pet Week. It's a huge one that I'd like to dive more into. It takes place the third week of September, which is the 15th to the 21st this year. Try to answer this question. What makes a pet less adoptable? It sounds so mean. We're not even talking about specific species of animals, like how you might not want to have a pet raccoon in your home, probably. We're talking about the standard dogs and cats. What makes some of them less adoptable? They're all dogs and cats after all, aren't they? Today, I'm looking to Freeport Veterinary Hospital's website for some answers. The Adopt a Less Adoptable Pet Week was launched to help recognize and promote the pets that are considered to have less adoptable traits, in hopes that they may also have the chance to find a forever home. On the Freeport Veterinary Hospital website, it says that there are many benefits to adopting a pet for you and your family. It can be a great way for children to learn compassion and responsibility. Unlike purchasing an animal from a breeder, you'll be helping a pet in need by providing them with a home and reducing the population of pets in shelters. So the animals that are considered less adoptable, let's talk about those. Those are often older pets, pets with special needs or chronic illnesses, pets with behavior issues, large breed dogs, and pets with black fur. Everyone is attracted to puppies and kitties, kittens specifically, because almost everyone thinks they are cute. However, adult animals also show up in shelters for various reasons, and whereas small animals may spend a matter of days to weeks in shelters, adult animals on average spend significantly longer, even up to years in shelters. Sometimes adult pets are relinquished to shelters out of no fault of their owner. In fact, it could be because the owner passed away. Other times, it could be because moving with a pet is too troublesome for some people, or because landlords won't allow pets. Whatever the reason is, it is almost never the animal's faults. Pets with special needs could be animals with missing limbs or chronic illnesses. Sometimes even the discovery of such an illness or the recovery process from an injury could be too much for owners who may end up relinquishing their pets to shelters. The reason why pets with black fur spend longer periods of time in shelters than those of another color is uncertain, but the facts are there, and it has been observed worldwide. As somebody who has had quite a few black furred pets, I will tell you that they are no different from any other pet, and they're amazing, sometimes even more amazing than their more colorful counterparts. So honestly, what's the deal? I also have a black cat who is in no way, shape, or form any kind of bad luck. Very good luck, and probably the best cat I've ever had. My favorite. I could be adding in a lot of my own opinions here, but having worked with nearly a dozen animal shelters, I have to say it is so silly to adopt a puppy or kitten when there are adults animals available. I would definitely pick the adult option. While puppies and kittens are cute, there's not much benefit beyond that. Dogs are only puppies for a few months, cats are only kittens for a few months, and then that cuteness wears off. You don't really know what kind of a being they will be, what kind of a personality they will have until they're an adult. And at that point, you're just stuck with them for the rest of hopefully 12 plus years. And whatever behaviors you may have thought were just present because of their young age, you are also stuck with. I would highly recommend anyone adopting an animal to spend as much time as the shelter or facility will allow to get to know the pet. Each facility is different, but for example, at one of the shelters I volunteered at, you could take any of the dogs for a leashed walk around the multi-acre property. You could get them alone to see how they act without the chaos of the shelter. You could throw some toys for them and see how they react to your praise. It's interactions like those where you start to get a feel for who the animal is, what their personality is. I would say it's a lot safer and healthier to fall in love with their personality rather than their outward appearance. Especially if a family has younger children or other pets, such as other dogs or cats, somebody working in a shelter would often be able to tell you whether or not that animal gets along well with, for example, cats or young children. When it comes to adult animals, a lot of these shelter workers can tell you with almost 100% certainty, I would say 90% certainty, whether or not that animal will get along well with other animals, other dogs, other cats, or small children and babies. I have also heard what I think is a myth that if you get the pet when they're younger, when they're still a kitten or a puppy, they'll develop a stronger bond with you. But at the same time, I've personally witnessed dogs who are 7, 8 years old, even older than that, 10 plus years old, form an incredibly strong bond with their owner. So well past that puppy or kitten stage. Another amazing pro to adopting an old pet is that they're usually already potty trained or house trained, which makes it not only easier for the new owner, it can also save some of your furniture in the long run. Furniture can be expensive. For Adopt a Less Adoptable Pet Week, if you're not planning on adopting, you can still celebrate by spreading the word to friends and family. But there are some current events I'd also like to dive into. I don't know how this slipped past the cracks, but back in August, the president of Taiwan, Lai Ching-te, adopted a disabled dog. Earlier this year, back in June, Lai had attended a Pingdong County Animal Shelter's opening ceremony and acknowledged their efforts. The large facility was built on a former military site and offers ample space not only to house stray cats, dogs, and wildlife, but also to provide medical care, grooming, and behavior training, Lai said. The construction of the facility cost 230 million NT dollars, or about 7 million US dollars. Lai added, "A country that is kind to animals is a civilized one," and has quoted Mahatma Gandhi saying, "The greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by how its animals are treated." The president emphasized the need for more cities to emulate Pingdong's example. Lai Ching-te fell in love with his newly adopted dog, Ban Ban, after seeing him at that Pingdong County Animal Shelter. He said, "As soon as I saw him, I knew I wanted to bring him home." He revealed that Ban Ban's left front leg had to be amputated due to a boar trap injury. Despite the difficulty the dog has walking, Ban Ban is very friendly to strangers. That is a message that resonated with Lai Ching-te and was reflected in his 100 Days in the Office video, which heavily featured the lovely Ban Ban. Of the pictures shared by the Office of the President commemorating Ban Ban's adoption, you can see Lai handing Ban Ban a stuffed animal, a toy, and feeding Ban Ban cupcakes with his name and face on them. Lai emphasized the need for more shelters, pointing out that the number of dogs and cats exceeds the population of children under 14 in Taiwan. Some believe that this reinforces Lai's vision of Taiwan as an internationally recognized animal-friendly nation. To many, it is also a healthy reminder to adopt, not shop. I would love to do a full-fledged feature on this individual, but for the time being, I feel it's necessary to still give a few words. Hopefully, I'll have enough time and resources to prepare a whole feature on him in the future. Reported in Taiwan News and Taipei Times, Jerry McKay, known affectionately as Grandpa Jerry, was a longtime UK national and resident of Taiwan who dedicated his life to caring for stray cats. After arriving in Taiwan in 1984, he settled in Kaohsiung's Linyuan district, where his love for animals led him to care for over 200 stray cats. McKay's deep compassion for these animals saw him depleting his savings to feed and provide medical care for them. He also used his modest income as a university lecturer to support his mission. Over the years, McKay became a beloved figure in his local community, although some neighbors were less appreciative of his efforts. Despite facing financial challenges, he continued to care for the cats, often treating them as his own children. His work gained a following on social media where he shared updates and photos of his feline companions. The Facebook page he managed attracted thousands of followers, including local politicians who praised his dedication. After his passing in 2024, the local community, animal welfare organizations, and his online followers commemorated him for his lifelong devotion to the stray cats. His funeral was organized by a charity, fulfilling his final wish for a tree burial. His legacy continues to inspire efforts to care for stray animals in Taiwan. Many of us, myself included, did not even know of his significant contributions until his passing, unfortunately. Otherwise, I do believe a lot more of us would have been moved to join his cause with him. Joining his cause after his passing is another beautiful way he can live on. If you are a cat owner in Taiwan and you don't have your pet registered, you could be facing a 15,000 NT dollar or $466 fine. Starting in August of next year, Taiwan will require all cat owners to register their pets, just as dog owners have been required to do so since 1999. The Ministry of Agriculture, MOA, announced this new regulation in response to the rapid growth of Taiwan's pet cat population, which has surged by 50% in 2 years. Just 2 years. Failure to register could result in fines of up to 15,000 NT dollars or $466, although a 1-year grace period will be given. Cat registration will involve online pre-registration followed by microchipping and rabies vaccination at designated facilities. Owners who fail to meet the registration deadlines about the birth, acquisition, transfer, missing status, or death of a pet within the time limit specified by compulsory registration regulations could also face fines of anywhere between around $100 to $500. Those who are ready to register their cats again can do so online through the Pet Registration Information System, then take them to a vet or animal hospital for rabies vaccination and microchip implantation. Pet owners will then receive a pet registration certificate. World PetNet says marking animals with a microchip is the most durable, effective, and completely safe method of quick and reliable identification. Microchips are vital for identifying pets, but they are not GPS trackers. They only contain a unique number. For identification, the chip must be registered in a national database with accurate owner data. World PetNet connects global databases, allowing quick access to contact details of lost or found pets by searching the chip number. By visiting the site, you can enter the chip number and add your pet to the database. This system helps facilitate reducing the number of homeless pets by facilitating the safe return of lost pets. Microchips are reliable and secure compared to other marking methods and are recommended for all pet owners. Do you have pets? If so, are they vaccinated and chipped? How about something we don't typically get to experience while living in Taiwan? Wild alligators. If I know of any specific place for having alligators, it's Florida. An 84-year-old woman in North Fort Myers, Florida, was severely injured on Thursday after being bitten by a 7-foot, 3-inch alligator while walking her dog near a pond. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission reported that the alligator attacked the woman, causing significant injuries to her right leg, arms, and wrist. She was hospitalized, though her condition remained unknown as of Friday. Her dog was unharmed. Following the incident, a nuisance alligator trapper located and euthanized the reptile for public safety. Alligator attacks on humans are rare in Florida, with the state averaging fewer than 12 bites per year since 2017. Authorities remind residents to keep a safe distance from alligators, keep pets on leashes near water, and only swim in designated areas during daylight hours. There always seems to be something interesting about snakes in the news. This time, it's about a 13-foot Burmese python getting seized from a New York home. The owner saying that they were unprepared for how fast the snake grew. Mirna Al-Sharif reported on this incident for NBC News. The New York State Department of Environmental Conservation says it's illegal to own a Burmese python in the state of New York without a license. Imagine being the officer who received a report about a snake, then complainant saying they think someone is keeping the reptile in their home illegally, and showing up to find a snake that is longer than you are tall. Again, that is a 13-foot Burmese python. The officer was able to identify the Burmese python as such due to the arrow-like design on its head. Upon arrival, the officer was told by the man who owned the snake that he simply wasn't prepared for how fast it grew and could no longer care for it. With an animal that size, just think of how much you'd have to feed it each day. And it's not like snakes are eating pre-packaged meals like dogs and cats do. If you know, you know. The owner was given tickets for possession of wildlife as a pet and for possessing dangerous wildlife without a permit. Native to Southeast Asia, Burmese pythons can grow up to enormous lengths, 23 feet or longer, and weigh up to 200 pounds. That's more than a lot of us listeners weigh. For sure. They are considered an invasive species in the U.S. due to their tendency to prey on native wildlife, some of which are endangered. They were first introduced to the United States through pet trade. Did you get the chance to listen to last week's episode of Formosa Fauna? In last week's episode, I interviewed the CEO of Wild Bird Society of Taipei and found out that the organization is incredibly friendly. Here's a little take that wasn't featured in the last episode of my discussion with Nelson Chen.
I can't find something that the people hate bird.
It's hard to think of why people hate birds.
So you think the bird is all charming to the whole over the sea. Come to Taiwan, come to see the bird. Taiwan is so many bird area. So maybe next time when you visit Yushan, when you visit Alishan, don't forget to bird watching.
Have you ever had a memorable experience with an animal? Whether it's an observation at the zoo, an interaction with a wild animal, or the thousands of stories you could share as a pet owner, I want to hear about it. If you're a fan of snail mail, please send me letters via the post. And if you're more digital, please send me an email. That way I can read it on air to share with all of our lovely Formosa Fauna friends. It could be the simplest thing, and as long as it means something to you, it means something to me. If you're sending in a letter, the address can be found online. Just look for the number 55 Bay An Road address in Taipei, Taiwan. Write your emails to tristan@rti.org.tw. That is tristan@rti.org.tw. Making it to the end of an episode makes you a Formosa Fauna friend. Thank you for tuning in, friends. All animals require enrichment, and Formosa Fauna is just that. After all, we're all just a bunch of wild animals. See you next time for Formosa Fauna Fridays here on Radio Taiwan International.